Hello, everyone. Hey, okay, so I'm going to be doing a mid month to the end of February this time around, and I will not be uploading a last week of February video because March March is a crazy, crazy month with um, a couple of very important aspects happening in the beginning, and it doesn't stop. It's like one after the other thing that happens in March that needs a lot of focus from my end. And like I always complain, I work full time. So I need to spend more time on delivering, setting up and delivering March's horoscopes for you guys, um, as well as I really want to commit to uploading that before March 1st. So that's one announcement. Second announcement, as you can see on your screen, I have the my email address for those people who want to contact me for readings. Even though I'm not doing any readings, I'm backed up all the way to May. But if you want to do readings, I can start putting you guys on a waiting list. And then I'll let you know by April when your time slot will be up. And because I'm working on a website that'll be like automated and you can choose your time slots and all that, but it's still under construction um, because I've got so much going on. I haven't, and I'm doing it on my own again. So that takes a lot of time. Uh, and for other, some people, want to ask questions, but they might be shy or they don't want it out there. And you guys can certainly contact me with my email. Now, I might not get back to you right away because I don't know uh, yet what the traffic will be like. Okay, so just letting you know that I might not get to you right away, to your email rather. All right, so those little administrative details out of the way. If you want to take a screenshot of these aspects and these degrees and compare them to your natal chart and see where they hit. All right, and then I'm going to. I don't know if well, um, yeah, I just don't like doing an introduction on these aspects, and you guys just skip straight to your sign, and you might miss some information. So I'm just going to go into each sign right away. I think that'll work better. So I'm going to change screens. Hi, Aries. Okay, so for all the Aries who are confused about that one last feeling or detail regarding your spirituality, faith, the past, your secrets and desires, any like long term medication, maybe alcohol use, or taking care of someone. And with whatever part of your life that it is affecting, other than, your 12th house, a, it may be a painful or a hurt um, kind of discussion in the beginning of the week leads you to an aha moment, which looks like it is tied to an intimacy, joint finances, or inheritance issue. For some others, it could be government benefits, taxes. Um, Again, the past credits or loans. This week, and with this like discovery, you still will be like, how do I make this work? How do I make this yearning stick? How do I turn this into reality? Answers are coming with the planetary aspects this week and next, but especially starting Sunday when Ceres, the planet of compromises, enters Pisces. The confusion will be parked to one side of the lane for Mercury to take care of when he'll go back and forth in Pisces. But Ceres will direct and keep traffic moving with a series of compromises and, like I said, aspects with other planets. Remember, there is like past karma here too. Um, I believe that is the biggest hangup for most Arians. What happened 18, 19 years ago is heavily tied up with this Neptune transit for you, Aries. As many Arians hate going backwards, or in this instance, the past, because you are ruled by Mars. This is stopping many of you from releasing the past, or this hurt, this wound, and going forward. Neptune is the god of the ocean, small g. Nothing can stop the ocean. And Mars is fearless. Yes, he's the god of war. But Neptune is way more powerful here. So that is why you're for most of you, you're stuck with this yearning. But like I said, the good news is Ceres is here and all these planets are on your side to get you over this very last um, hump, um, this wound. You will find yourselves um, enjoying being alone, definitely, because we've got six important planets in Pisces, and that is your 12th house. Um, so yes, you will be enjoying your time alone this week, coming to terms with this, but in a good way. Oh, and also try to note down your dreams, because this is your 12th house. Uh, Pisces natally is the 12th house, and it's all about the past and dreams and intuition and all that. So you should have like vivid dreams or lucid dreams. And I've mentioned I do interpret dreams, so if you want to just get an idea, I can you can put it in the comments. Now, the other matter that picks up this week is whatever stuck situation was going on with your home, family member, or your home, that like your physical home or house or apartment, that was maybe slowing you down. Uh, it picks up. It may take a few more days to a couple of weeks to wrap this up, but this week starts the show. Well, maybe probably next week because Mars is stationing direct, and I'll explain that a little later. Now, Mercury conjunct Saturn can be very good for you, Aries, that are in publishing or public speaking or writing, as this helps you to be more focused and translate like the nuance, the ethereal, into maybe layman's terms. Others could be turned off by this restriction, to be more focused, as like, oh, again, or or like it's overwhelming, and some can give up. Now, for those of you who would give up, I just say don't and wait till February 27th, as Mercury will sextile Uranus, and you could have like a genius breakthrough about discussions, about writing, publishing, speaking, and all that good stuff. Now, finally, the new moon in Pisces is, if you've listened to your February forecast, is a new opportunity, to a beginning, to an end, regarding your 12th hidden house. Um, we we start to realize there's an ending, anticipating a new beginning, as all these planets will start moving into your first house of image. Now, this might be a blessing or it can be a burden, because there are different rules and a different price to pay, um, that again may be nuanced or confusing, because there is also a square to Jupiter from this new moon, which implies that there may be a loophole that you are able to access to make this ideal, this ethereal, this nuanced um, situation come into reality. But not, well, nothing in life is really free. Basically, you have to choose between two ways of going about it, and both ways have a trade-off. Again, whatever that has been elusive or a struggle regarding your psyche and about the past, a karmic situation regarding your 12th house will be helping this new moon in the release of that past. Um, as this new moon will be an eclipse 6 months down the line. Okay, so if you are unable to release whatever it is, the universe will uh, will eclipse it out of your life. Okay. Uh, Also, to note and remember, Jupiter in Gemini had started expanding a close circle for you, and you may have changed maybe your style somewhat, um, or maybe your collaboration um, of how you communicate to fit in with this group. This started last year in May, and then it sort of stalled last fall because Jupiter was going retrograde. Now it's picking up again. So, with the new moon squaring Jupiter here, can either be helpful in that this closed circle will help you materialize this ideal situation, but you may have to continue with some sort of a facade that you are not comfortable with within this group. This well, simply because Aries can be, you guys can be very engaging with people, with a group, but you tend to it tends to be it tends to get pretty old quickly if you are putting on a facade. Okay, because Aries likes to be independent, and you may struggle with that, with an aspect of Jupiter at the end of March and May. But most Aries will not feel this intensely unless your natal degrees match anything here. I hope I didn't confuse you. There's two ways of going about this ending, and I'm referring to again Neptune leaving your 12th house. But there's this one last hurdle, this one last hurrah, if you will, and you can. There is like a group, because all these planets work together. So Jupiter in this area of your life, which rules the third house of communication, community, like it's close, small circle of community, your siblings, neighbors, social media. So with the new moon squaring Jupiter, you may get like help with releasing this past event, this wound maybe. But it what I'm trying to say is, if you are feeling uncomfortable um, with this group, like having to be happy, cheery all the time, or maybe being firm, or whatever, like you don't feel yourself within this group, uh, and they're helping you out here, you might struggle later because you don't want to keep putting up this facade, and you may feel obliged. So I hope I didn't confuse you, but if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. The other thing I just want to make sure now, also we have Juno entering Sagittarius. Um, and I usually don't mention asteroids, but because it's in a fire sign, you may feel it. So Sagittarius is your ninth house of higher education, long distance travel, foreigners, publishing, and the World Wide Web. Um, and Juno is about commitment. So there is something that starts up also regarding commitment, regarding your ninth house. And Mars, like I mentioned, will station direct in Cancer on the 23rd. So pay attention to these few days, like the day before, during, or after, or what have you, because when planets station direct or retrograde, you sort of get a clue, a sneak peek of what's going on. Okay, and then Mars, of course, will be going direct over those degrees back in October, November. So there's going to be forward movement finally, and you will feel that intensely because Mars is your ruling planet. So anything having to do with your family, your parents, your physical abode, your mother especially, if you have one, or a matriarchal figure here. Um, then what we have next is, I explained that. I'm just going through the lineup just to make sure I explained that. Um, and I covered the whole month, and this will be the mid-month to the end of the month because March is is crazy. Even the first week, the first few days, there's some intense aspects, and it just doesn't stop. So I'm not going to do next week's weekly because I really have to get organized and focused, because I've made a commitment that I do want to upload these um, before the 1st of March, or at least by the first. Hopefully I don't let myself down. um, but yeah, that will be it, and I will be talking to you guys in the beginning of the month with your March forecast. Take care, Aries. Hi, Taurus. Hope you're doing well. So, I hope you listened to the intro. It's only a couple minutes, but the lineup is there to see if it matches with any degrees in your natal chart. And this is going to be mid-month to the end of the month because I will not be uploading a weekly next week. Um, because March is crazy. It even starts the first couple of days of March and it doesn't stop all the way through. So I want to get really focused, and I made a commitment to myself that I want to upload this before the 1st of March, or at least like right spot on the first. So yeah, I hope I don't let myself down. So yeah, so this is your mid month to end of the month. Now, what this is about, whatever discussion you are having, like in the beginning of the week, maybe Tuesday, looks like to be either with a friend or a partner. Um, and remember, a partner doesn't necessarily mean an intimate partner. It can be platonic or business. Um, uh, and whatever this discussion is regarding, it is regarding how you are seen, as to do with something of the past, or like a secret. Uh, it, um, it's because you are working on something behind the scenes, and also your communication style. Okay, you have to be aware of your communication style, and I did go into detail on this in your February forecast. Now, uh, whatever this discussion, like I said, this triggers some kind of a wound regarding security, um, or in the case, insecurity, for many of you. For many of you, this insecurity, security, or security issue has to do, excuse me, with a feeling of betrayal, um, feeling of hurt. There, there may be an outburst with another, or it could be within yourself and psyche. This discussion that I'm talking about, but a partner, your partner can, like I said, can be any partner, is coming to your aid here. And by the end of the week, many of you will liberate yourselves through compromises, or a compromise. If it is compromises, it'll be with others, And again, it might be within yourself, about yourself, because you're concerned about security and how you are seen, like, or you see your future self, um, because you are the second house of job, income, and the value system, and you do rule the money and security, and all that, and working hard. Taurus, and Capricorn, Scorpio, Cancer. There's another sign I forget, but you guys know that it is through hard work that you build a foundation, that you build, like, of something of a, like, to fall back on. Um, so so you are all about security, and sometimes taking your time to make decisions. You take a long time to make decisions. Thus, the maybe stereotype of being stubborn. Um, you'll be planning a few steps now to sort of let it rip in the next few months, or to have it to fall back on, because you can feel that there's this change coming about. This week and next is like the last hurrah in understanding what the past 14 years have been about in regards to your friends, a friend, groups, associations, but most especially your vision of your future self, how you want to be seen, how you want to be in particular, because it's the 11th house of your hopes, wishes, and dreams of the future. Um, and you may have it in your schedule or diary that by summer there will be yet another relaunch of who you have become and who you want to be. Now, it could simply be a weight loss, or you want to gain weight, or maybe a different hairstyle, wardrobe, or you know, experimenting with trinkets, or your new armor, your profile, and all that. Or it could be something more profound, involving others. Okay, as you go within and contemplate your new you, and maybe a new secret you have been working on, um, because there came uh, there's something that you wanted to change, or you wanted someone to change, maybe, and you feel that you've tried many different ways and it has not worked, and you've understood that, well, I'll explain that later, but uh, you then decided to do something else, but you haven't been sharing this. You've been keeping it close to your chest. Now, with Mercury in Pisces squaring Jupiter in Gemini, uh, and the Moon squaring all the planets in Pisces, because we have 6 planets now, planets and points in Pisces: Mercury, Saturn, um, Neptune, the North Node, and a couple more. This tells me that all this discussion is more so about your value system, inclusive of money. If I was to say it's just your value system, that would be quite incorrect, because you, as much as yes, you have depth in understanding of how you value yourself, or how others value you, or what have you. You still consider money, physical money, assets, as very important to a value system, to your value system. Okay. Um, so yeah, this discussion is about your value system regarding how you are seen, maybe through a sibling or extended family. These discussions can get a mind of their own and expand to something else, because it's Jupiter. The only risk in reality check you will be aware of is exaggeration, because it's Jupiter and it's a square, or confusion, because, like I mentioned, you may be holding something you are working on close to your chest, you're working on behind the scenes. For those of you who are struggling here, it is your, well, yes, it is your own perception that you think like you're an outsider of some sort, that you whatever we do, as far as partners are mirrors. Okay. So if we're happy, our partners are happy. For example, if we're sad, our partners become sad. I mean, you can understand that logic. Okay. So if you are intensely working on something behind the scenes, or keeping a secret, you will project that onto others. Um, so, because as we see Venus in Aries semi-sextile Uranus in your sign, um, it has to do with how you are seen, how you're coming off. So now this is a short scope, so I will not go into 101 scenarios. However, I will say that Uranus will not tolerate any, like, controls or restrictions, and always brings freedom. And you're already used to that, more so than not. You've had Uranus in your sign since 2018. Okay. And the universe like doesn't hate us. The planets don't hate us, so they set up situations where we can break free. And if we don't, planets like Uranus, like an eclipse, will do it suddenly. Because in the long run, it might be disruptive at first, but in the long run, it is very, very good for us. Uh, but this with this aspect, will it be freedom exclusively through you, or will it be through others? Um, this question cannot really be answered firmly for three different reasons. First, it is Uranus. It's the planet of shock and surprise. We never know what it'll do, but it is in your sign. Second, I mentioned earlier, you are holding something close to the chest. This not being completely open with partners. Okay, so I'm talking about the projection part. And third, others are also going through enormous changes themselves. It's not only you. And they have Uranus and Pisces in different areas of their lives affecting their interaction with you. Okay, so that's why I'm hesitant to say how this breaking free will be, but it'll either be you that breaks free, or you'll break free through others. And Uranus just turned direct, so it's still a little bit slow, but there are a couple of more aspects before it leaves your sign in June uh, that will be surprising, maybe. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are people that will help you, whether they be a partner or other partners, a close circle of your community, uh, or maybe family, um, or what have you. Because we do have Ceres entering Pisces, and she is the planet of compromise. And Juno will enter Sagittarius. So compromises about your future vision will begin in earnest, and maybe regarding a hopeful commitment in regards to intimacy, joint finances, and or an inheritance matter, because Sagittarius rules your eighth house of the mortgage, of joint finances, of how others value you. Okay, so there's something, and if you are single, you might find that you initiate this commitment uh, discussion, or another will will start this discussion about commitment. The reality check comes in on Friday that may enforce your personal delay tactics. Like I said, you take a long time to like make up your mind about things. But Sunday, a healing conversation, again, through maybe a family member or close circle that had its roots back in October, November, will get you more off the fence to prepare for some more of closing the final chapter. I'm talking about Neptune leaving Aries. Well, at least within your psyche by next week. So hold on to all of that and try to clear it again within yourself, within your own psyche, or in a collaboration with somebody that you really, really trust. As next month, it will be the game changer. Um, Early in March, like I mentioned, right when I started your scope, there's some really intense aspects, but in a good, challenging way. Definitely challenging. But pay attention to the new moon that is coming in, I think, next week. That is the beginning of the end, because that new moon will be an eclipse 6 months down the line. And it is a total lunar eclipse. Something will be eclipsed out of your life um, in regards to you, a friend, friends, a group, an association. Um, and yeah, in your vision of the future, there's going to be adjustments from now till then. But because of course Uranus will be leaving your sign also. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming in. And these next 2 weeks are just really helping you focus and giving you some clues of how a 14-year journey is coming full circle regarding your visions of how you want to be seen, and friends and groups and all that. Okay, Taurus. So I will leave you with that, and I will talk to you on March with your March forecast. And it's going to be a long one. So yeah, I hope you're subscribed so you can get notified. All right, talk to you soon. Hi, Gemini. Okay, Gemini, this is your mid month to the end of the month scope for February. I will not be uploading a weekly scope next week, as March is really intense. I mean, it starts like I think the first or second day in March, um, and it just doesn't stop. It's a crazy month. So I need some time to focus and prepare that for you guys. Um, and I want to upload it before March 1st, or at least all the signs by March 1st. So yeah, and my usual whining that I work full time, and I won't be able just to do a weekly and do March's intense aspects. So yeah, this hopefully will hold you until March, this scope. So right away, Gemini, this week there's discussions, debates, talking, thinking, something about your career, your status, your reputation. That that talk may unintentionally trigger uh, a wound or a hurt, um, from the past, and in regards to a friend or friends, or a group, an association, or a circle of friends. It can be all in the mix here. Now, the next day, midweek, we have the sun entering Pisces, and what that does is it illuminates um, a coming ending. It's the beginning to an end. Okay, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so we do anticipate an ending, as there is a new beginning right after it. And so the sun is shining a light on something regarding your career, your status, and your reputation, an ending here. Okay. um, we also have um, a couple aspects with Venus in Aries and Uranus in Taurus. So again, something in regards to a friend or friends, and something that is in the past or a secret. It's a semi square, so it's going to bite a little. But again, it's this looks mostly like within yourself. There's a struggle within yourself about this past relationship, um, and something that was in secret. Um, Maybe a revelation about it. Then we have Mercury in Pisces that'll semi-sextile Venus in Aries. So discussions again about your career, in regards to a friend or a group that is actually pleasing. So you may be justifying it. This again, Mercury can be thinking. You may be justifying whatever your actions were towards that friend, and maybe you saw it as a sacrifice of some sort, with your career or reputation. That it was worth it for whatever this friend was or meant to you back then. Juno also enters Sagittarius. Juno is about commitment, and Sagittarius is your opposite sign. Sorry, that's my pug snoring. So Sagittarius rules your partnerships of all kinds: personal partnerships, business partnerships, platonic partnerships. Anyone really that can hold up a mirror to you would be considered a partner. A brother can be a partner. A friend can be a partner. Your adult child can be a partner. Sagittarius also rules open enemies. Like you would know who is an enemy. So here we have the beginning of talks about commitment, regarding a past, present, or potential partnership. You're going to be talking about that, discussing it, thinking it, and for a few months. Now, the one aspect that's quite important for you guys is Mercury and Pisces. And I'm not going to give you dates. I mean, you can look at the beginning of the video. I have the lineup set up so you can see that, and you can see the degrees and try to match it to your natal chart to see if you will even be affected. But I'm just going to go because I'm concentrating on the main aspects for each sign, because each sign will be triggered differently. So for you, definitely that wound and hurt and talk discussion about your career, that's going to affect you. And the next thing that'll affect you this coming week will be uh, Mercury in Pisces will square Jupiter in Gemini. Now, a square is a hard aspect. It's not an easy aspect, but there is mutual reception here. Jupiter rules is a co-ruler of Pisces, and Mercury is your ruler. So even though this is it may start off as maybe a heated debate regarding your career and status, your reputation, and how you are seen, how your image, your profile, uh, words, maybe slanderous words can fly left and right, but once the dust settles, um, you can understand why that conversation was. You can be compassionate to whatever these discussions were. At the same time, this compassion spreads to both sides because it's Jupiter. It'll expand um, your thought on it. Now, the other way that it can work out is that an authority figure might be, coming down on you regarding your career and your reputation, and trying to make you see the depth of your actions, maybe about a past action. Because remember, Neptune in Pisces was sorry, entered Pisces 14 years ago, um, and it's trying to make you understand that, and you might be like talking over them and trying to make them understand that uh, that you had this that you actually sacrificed your reputation or your career because you were trying to help family, help a friend, help yourself, and help siblings or something. It was you were in the thick of it all, and you know you may also realize here uh, that others, of course, didn't see it the way you did. See, you are ruled by Mercury, so Mercury is very transactional. I'm sorry, you are transactional, okay, and you also are. Mercury is the messenger of the gods, so he had to whiz about between this god and that god, relaying messages, and obviously, some gods are are more dramatic than others, and Mercury might have softened the message for some gods, and uh, what I'm trying to say is, Gemini, is that you you do follow the rules. I'm not saying you don't follow the rules. You do follow the rules. You're upright like that because you understand it's very, very important, for messages to be clear. Otherwise, there'll be chaos. However, because you're ruled by Mercury, a transactional planet, a fast planet, and you're an air sign. It's not that you like to cut corners, but if there is something that you can play around with, to make it beneficial for you and for others, you will do that. You will take that risk. You rule gambling and risk taking. Uh, so, and obviously, Pisces is not about. I mean, yes, it can be creative. So there is risks involved because it's faith and spirituality, but it's more about emotion, the depth of the emotion, the depth of your faith. So that's where the clash comes in, is trying to square your transactional nature, you playing around with the rules, with the depth and the emotions of how that may affect others. I hope I related well, and you can imagine how hard it is to do a scope on Neptune and Pisces. It's all about nuance. It's about the ethereal, about emotions. It's not only hard facts and pragmatic, but you're about pragmatic. So here, there's some of you that might shut off, that might want not to talk too much, or this authority figure might like close off and not talk too much. So it can go either way with how this is going. But um, it- like I said, I don't see this as a bad square. This is mutually beneficial for both sides of the equation here. Okay. Um, the next important thing that happens is on Sunday, towards Sunday, Mercury in Pisces will trine Mars in Cancer. Um, and then Mars will station direct in Cancer, and Ceres will enter Pisces. Um, and Mercury in Pisces semi squares Pluto in Aquarius. So a lot happening on Sunday. So beginning of next week too. Remember, in your February forecast, I mentioned that the month of February is quite important. It's a holding pattern, but it's important, and as that it shows you the ending of how Neptune in Pisces will be. Neptune will leave Pisces the end of March. So this is the beginning of the end. You're getting like a sneak peek, like and you can sense there's some kind of ending that's coming around, and it's more so like coming full circle because Neptune will retrograde back into Pisces at the end of the year. Now, again on Sunday and starting next week, there will be discussions again about your career uh, that actually benefit your job, your income, or your value system, like who you will and will not sell out for. Um, and this discussion, pay attention to it because it's coinciding with Mars stationing direct in Cancer. That's pretty big because I always say pay attention to like a day before, of, and after when a planet stations. It lifts a veil where you can like sneak a peek. But especially here, since there's discussions on the same day regarding your career and your money house and value system. For most of you, it might be about changing jobs, changing careers. Uh, you might be going into maybe something about health, or taking care of someone or people. It might be about spirituality or faith. Maybe some of you are like um, health instructors of some type, um, or you could be maybe going into a field of I don't know why I see alcohol. Maybe you're starting like a business. Maybe it's like a wine business or something. But yeah, pay attention to these talks because they'll be quite important. Anyway, as well, Ceres is the planet of compromise. So these discussions uh, will have tones of agreements or compromising over agreements. Okay, Ceres was uh, Pluto's mother-in-law, so she made him compromise over her daughter. But that's a longer story. You can listen to that in your, I think, December scope. I mentioned it in November. But yeah, these discussions will again talk about. So there's discussions about your job, your career, your reputation, an ending of some sort, um, and compromises because as well family is involved. Maybe your mother. Yeah, so look to that. That starts up Sunday and into next week, and then Mercury will conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So this can be heavy duty. So again, there's some kind of talk um, that is restricting something about your career and status. This can be good for any of you that are publishing or writing or public speaking because this really narrows your focus down to from the nuanced. You're able to relay that message in layman's terms, like perfectly. Okay. Otherwise, if it is within yourself, you do understand the restraint. You do understand the constriction regarding your career and status. You do understand this holding pattern you've been in the last 2 years. Um, and thus it leads to a semi-sextile with Chiron in Aries. Exactly. So you understand here that this restriction, these obstacles that you've encountered the last 2 years, have had you more focused and more determined. Where this wound regarding a friend or a group, um, you see it for what it is. Okay, there's with Pisces, with Neptune and Pisces, and Neptune leaving Pisces next month, the end of next month, and this as a precursor to that, it has to do with releasing something, understanding compassionately, having compassion with any harsh reality, understanding that, and then releasing that through faith, through speech. Because what happens with when we fear something new, we hang on to a hurt ironically because that's what we know, that's what we're comfortable in. We know we can't be hurt anymore because we've already felt that. So going into something new, we drag along that hurt to fall back on. Uh, but that would be like counterproductive, of course. And having faith to completely release that hurt is what washes you clean. Because on the 27th, we will have a new moon in Pisces. This will be a new opportunity. Uh, and it might be a golden opportunity for a beginning to an end because there has to be an ending here. And the way that maybe you've been going about it, um, again, it might have hindered you from releasing it. So the universe in its wisdom is giving us a new opportunity um, to work on to release that past because this new moon in Pisces will be a total lunar eclipse 6 months down the line. And it's not like a full moon, it's an eclipse. Something or someone will be eclipsed out of your life, uh, so that when we get a solar eclipse, then it fills that void. But it's going to be very, very powerful and very profound. So see what happens, what new opportunity you might have. Now, with everything, there's a trade off, of course. So with Jupiter being in your sign and the new moon, because this new moon will square Jupiter as well. Not exact, but it'll come close to it. So what it's saying is maybe an authority figure might give you an opportunity uh, that is tied to this release because Jupiter is blessing your sign. You might not feel like Jupiter is a blessing because it's a heavy duty planet to carry around to host, uh, especially because it rules your opposite sign of partnerships, so it can become a heavy duty planet. But yeah, it's what it translates into new moons and Pisces squaring Jupiter in your sign. It may translate into like uh, again, like maybe something that's a miracle that happens that you're able to um, realize this ideal you've had about your career and status. But then 6 months down the line, poof, it's gone, and you might, be like, oh, I wanted that, I wanted to hold on to that. Um, but yeah, and that new moon also will define the ending of Neptune in Pisces, the end of next month. Mercury in Pisces will sextile Uranus in Taurus. Saturn in Pisces will semi-sextile Chiron in Aries. and then the Sun in Pisces semi-sextile Venus. So here with Mercury sextile Uranus and Taurus, again, discussions regarding your career, your reputation, your status is sitting well with something regarding the past, regarding your faith, your spirituality. You get a genius, maybe a aha moment, a clue about, okay, this is what it was meant to be. So that what the finale is that at the end of the month you do get a new opportunity to release whatever it is, whatever hurt you've had, whatever confusion you've had regarding your status and your career. A lot of you may be tying the knot or maybe getting engaged, and some of you may be separating because the status is uh, Mr. Mrs. Ms. or Mrs., married, not married, engaged, not engaged, uh, the father of so and so, whatever. It's a status symbol. So yeah, and this is not something new. I don't want you guys to think that this is something new for you Geminis that are great and everything's hunky dory peachy keen. You have nothing to worry about. It might be all about a job and a move and a career, because you also have long distance travel up all in here in the mix. Higher education, it might be just uh, leaving your old status as maybe an undergrad and going to specialize into something else, or just out of high school and going to start college, or what have you. So I'm just saying, if there is a break, a ending, and a discussion of a break or an ending, it's not something new. All right, Gemini. So yeah, pay attention to when Mars stations and that discussion that you'll be having regarding your career at the same time, because family is involved, a sibling is involved, something about karma is involved as well, and your partner. You're in the thick of it, but only you can make rhyme or reason out of it. So good luck with that. I will be talking to you guys in March. Hi, Cancer. Okay, so this is the mid-month to the end of the month scope, as I will not be uploading a weekly scope next week because we have an intense month coming in March. This February was sort of a holding pattern, and as I mentioned in your February scope, it is really a movie trailer or a prelude to an ending of your Pisces related house, which is your ninth house of foreigners, long distance travel, higher education, publishing, and the World Wide Web. Uh, so yeah, March is really intense, and I'll do my whining. I work full time, so I need a lot of time to set up March and deliver to you guys in time. I really want to commit to that. Hopefully, I can, like right before March, or at least uploading all the signs by the 1st of March. So yeah, this scope will hopefully hold you until March. So Cancer, a discussion, text, email, or debate early this week regarding a foreigner, higher education, or long distance travel may trigger an unintentional hurt or wound regarding what you are trying to achieve with a career, reputation, or a status opportunity, maybe, or whatever is going on with your career and your status. A child, romance, or a lover comes to the aid of any bruised feelings after that. Okay, there's a release point there. Now, midweek, your focus is on putting one last big effort to see a resolution or an ending regarding these things, as we see six important planets and points in Pisces. This is big, Cancer. Also, midweek, a career status, opportunity that could have romance, money, or fame associated with it hits maybe like a squabbling point, if that's a word, because of a friend or a group association. As you will also be dealing with a commitment about a job, schedule, routine, or health regime, and trying to find the right fit there. Okay. Now, also next week, probably around Thursday or thereabouts, again, discussions or debates about higher education, long distance traveling, or a foreigner may take a life of its own, about a secret, the past, and maybe siblings, cousins, or maybe even neighbors, or your close circle um, of community. But for you, it's probably, yeah, siblings or cousins or extended family. Now, this can be a good brainstorming session. And again, try to have someone that is more grounded and sees practicality in this group, or to run it through them, as these ideas may be larger than life and way too optimistic. It's Mercury in Pisces squaring Jupiter. in Gemini, and it looks like you are doing just that. As on Friday, the moon in Sagittarius will square Saturn. I mean, the moon will square all six planets and points, but the one I want to concentrate on is the square with Saturn in Pisces. And it is the moon. I mean, that is a fleeting feeling or emotion, because it's only like 2 days or so. Uh, and the risk is, once again, when the moon leaves Sagittarius, you may dismiss this warning sign from Saturn through Sagittarius, which is your eighth house. I'm sorry, your sixth house of routine and health, as just something that is fleeting, like the moon is. But Juno also enters Sagittarius, so a commitment to uh, a routine or a schedule, or working on something of an order out of chaos. So hopefully, Juno will keep those guardrails up of committing to something that works for you. Um, Now, here's the heavy duty part, Cancer. You are a cardinal sign, which means you are one of the signs that lead, okay? Sets trends and control one of the most important areas of the zodiac, the family and the hearth, especially the mother and emotions. Quite powerful and very, very important. Thus, you have been waiting for a couple of pieces of information, excuse me, ever since Mars was directed to go backwards and revisit the events of October and November, okay? Um, Mars in your sign. So it's also about your image, you you portraying like family or the mother or a matriarchal figure. I'll explain that later. But the day of reckoning has come. Sunday, Mars will station direct in your sign. Finally. But also on this day, Mercury in Pisces will trine Mars retrograde in your sign. Now, this is good. The face value of it is it's good, because there is an opening, a receptive attitude from two opposing factions. And of course, you may be one of those factions. However, this conversation can be a little tricky to navigate, as it deals with heavy duty, maybe even hidden emotions. Okay. Um, Again, Pisces, remember, is your ninth house. Foreigners, travel, and higher education. And Cancer, well, it's your sign, so it's about your image, your profile, how you are seen. Um, but these emotions can be like walking on eggshells, because, like I said, emotions are involved. The trick is to listen, like really listen. Maybe acknowledge fears or hesitations, and then express your own like fears and hesitations. And then uh, a good second step would be to ask for help in compromising uh, on decisions, like meeting halfway. When you do this, the ball then is thrown uh, in the other's court, where you can either be persuaded to an opposing opinion, or you have then the leverage of compromise, because you know how they feel, what it is, and what they want, and then you can uh, weave yours into it. Because the other important aspect, especially for you, is in regards, like I mentioned before, family, but more profoundly, it looks like more of a sibling or cousin, or maybe extended family is in this mix, or maybe a neighbor. But I think for you guys, it's closer than that, because Jupiter is in Gemini. Excuse me. And it is also going to be squaring the new moon. So Jupiter is about your past relationship with siblings and communication. Plus, the South Node is in Virgo, and that is your third house of communication and siblings and cousins and so forth. So there's also karma here regarding that from 18, 19 years ago. Something needs releasing here, Cancer. Most Cancerians, and to help you understand, I'll go through. Well, most Cancerians take on a maternal role, even if there is a mother involved. Um, you emphasize your mother's role. You defend it. Think of like a spider web. It is the web of the mother that keeps everyone in line or within this close community. Because there's people who think like friends are like family, or others who are in, but with Cancer and the family, family is one for all and all for one, um, type of a deal. Um, but this may have set you back in other areas of your life, because that is coded in your DNA. That is how you are. You are all about family and retreating in your shell. But when you get married or go off to school, let's say, or start a business or whatever, that may have set you back being so involved in family, or even with family. If you're taking on a parenting role, that could have brought a lot of friction with siblings. Okay. Um, but you'll see. Why I'm warning you of this, why I'm warning you of like releasing, letting go, is because Uranus will enter Gemini in July, and we have an upcoming eclipse in Pisces, which will oppose Virgo. Again, your siblings. Um, so you or the universe will be freeing you of the past regarding siblings or cousins or a very close group. Freedom can also come through a sibling. Or a group, or their actions, whether they will be disruptive or not. It is Uranus, but that's a little bit more during the summer, that you'll get like a snippet of that of what to expect in 2026. But the most important thing is um, freedom. Freedom to be you, so that your other areas of your life will start working for you. But it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be tough, because this is very important. I completely understand. Whatever's going on with a sibling or a cousin or extended family is quite important. And there's karma here. There's karma. So there's either karma owed to you, or you owe, and you'll understand what that is. Now, Ceres will also enter Pisces, so the compromises begin with forward action in your sign, with Mars starting to go forward in your sign. So this is fantastic, and hallelujah to Mars going direct finally, because it affects all of us. Mars in your sign affects all of us, with family as well, and other areas of our lives. So I'm very happy for this. And next week, many things will fall into place. If you've listened to the February scope, I do mention that February is like a prelude to when Neptune leaves Pisces after 14 long years. So it comes full circle, of an understanding, of a compassionate understanding, of your role, maybe of others, that may have played roles in this, and this foreigner aspect, this higher education deal, or publishing. It can be also not as uh, dramatic as I pointed it out. You might have been working on um, writing something, and you're coming full circle with this publishing of this experience, or higher education. You might be graduating, or all that. But um, for a lot of you, it could have been that maybe you traveled long distance and married a foreigner. Um, yeah, that's going to be a huge exit next month. And as next week, like I said, many things will fall into place, but we also see a new opportunity for the beginning of the end of a very long 14-year journey here, because we have a new moon in Pisces. Um, so we anticipate an ending here, as as we look to a new beginning. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it is also always about an ending, an accomplishment. Uh, as we look to Aries next month to start something new. And boy, will we start something new next month. Uh, well, it starts the ball rolling. And I'm freezing. Sorry, this noise that I'm moving around is like my sweater. We also will have Mercury in Pisces sextile Uranus in Taurus. Um, Mercury in Pisces was, again, discussions about a foreigner, long distance travel, publishing, or higher education, that is sitting really well with your groups, your friends, a friend, an association, or the 11th house can also be your hopes and visions of the future. Okay. Um, so maybe a surprising event, um, or maybe a genius idea comes through a friend that helps regarding this foreigner, or um, higher education or publishing. We have that aspect. But pay attention to this new opportunity, this new moon in Pisces, because it is the beginning of the end. And this new moon will be a total lunar eclipse 6 months down the line. Something will be eclipsed out of your life. Sorry, that's my plug. Sorry. Um, where it will be filled up with a solar eclipse thereafter, but something of a release. So pay attention to that new moon, and as well, to next Sunday, discussion starting next Sunday with Mercury in Pisces trining Mars in your sign. those discussions are going to be very important. Okay, Cancer, if you have any questions or you're confused about it, because you can imagine trying to explain like a 14-year journey, a very ethereal, nuanced journey for each sign, and how to interpret it clearly can be quite a challenge. So I wouldn't blame you if you're confused. If you have any questions, do feel free to leave them in the comments, and I do answer all comments and questions. Um, and I will talk to you in March. Take care, Cancer. Hi, Leo. Hope you guys are doing well. This will be your mid month to end of the month scope, as I will not be doing a weekly scope next week because I have to uh, prepare your March scope, which is quite quite intense. Even the first, like I think it's the second day of March, there's a really intense aspect, and it doesn't stop. It's like one after the other. And I do work full time, so I need this extra time to prepare a well-rounded March scope for you guys. And I'm wanting to upload that before March 1st, or at least all signs by the 1st. So yeah, I work, so I need this extra time. So hopefully this mid-month scope will hold you until then. So these 2 weeks, and if you've heard my your rather your February scope, this is about your eighth house. It's about Pisces. It is about a prelude to an ending, a beginning to an end. It's a wrap up, because Neptune at the end of next month will be leaving Pisces after 14 very long years. Now, Pisces for you is your eighth house of intimacy, joint finances, the mortgage, property, taxes, government benefits, um, credits, loans, um, but especially inheritance issues. Now, Pisces is also the 12th zodiac sign, and so it does rule the past, the psyche, um, spirituality, faith, taking care of someone, and any long-term drug or alcohol use here. So, over the past 14 years, you have felt all of these aspects. Some maybe more intensely than others at certain times during this 14-year journey. And now we are reaching the end of this journey. Uh, by the end of next month, Neptune will leave, and this month has been a prelude to that ending. And these next 2 weeks, especially, will be intensified. The beginning of the end will be intensified. We will really feel them and discuss them. So, for a majority of you, Leos, it is about a partner or partners and money. Simply, it can be about, and partners can be intimate partners, business partners. It can be platonic partners. Anyone who knows you really, really well, or who interacts with you on almost a daily basis, can be considered a partner. But for a majority of you here, it looks to be uh, an intimate partner or family. Maybe your parents, maybe their parents. Maybe you're the parent, and it's your adult children are involved in this. And again, something about money. So, inheritance, property, the mortgage, something about that. So, we start off this week with uh, discussions, debates, conversations regarding joint finances, regarding inheritance, that is intended to really heal, but triggers some kind of a wound or a hurt. Um, uh, it's Mercury in Pisces that'll semi-square Chiron in Aries. And Aries is your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, higher education, publication, um, and the World Wide Web. Uh, and it can be a variety of scenarios, and I don't want to get hung up on that. But you personally will know what that wound or hurt is about. Okay. Now the sun also will enter Pisces. So the sun entering Pisces leaves us of Aquarius weather and definitely all into Pisces weather. So we have the sun, moon, Mercury, Neptune, Saturn, and the North Node all in Pisces. So yeah, the sun will start illuminating. You will know. You will see. Uh, you will feel this an ending coming about, a release of whatever was confusing, or you were unsure about regarding inheritance and joint finances. Um, with all these planets here, and with your situation, this looks like the I don't want to say the last stand, because that implies like opposition. It's not really that. It's more about bringing everyone, together on something, bringing everyone on board for a finale, an ending here. Okay, and the sun is shining this light on deep truth, emotional truth about. It can be emotional, of course. If it's inheritance, it's not a laughing matter. I didn't mean to laugh, but it is emotional. And there will be an aspect from Venus to Taurus. So it could be like maybe being unsure of opening up to someone close. Um, um, so it's like freedom versus closeness versus intimacy. And intimacy can be, yes, about sex, but I'm talking about like true intimacy, bearing your soul. Um, and then the most important aspect that I want you to pay attention to is by the end of the week. It's on the 20th, Thursday, but as I mentioned in last week's scope, it's not really about the day, the time, that aspect becomes perfected. It can happen to you before or after. So that's why I'm using vague, maybe when I say end of the week instead of by February 20th or what have you. And there is a planetary lineup in the very beginning of this video that you can take a screenshot of and then compare it to your natal chart, because you can see if anything in your chart hits those degrees. So yeah, by the end of the week, we do have an aspect between Pisces and Gemini. It's Mercury in Pisces that will square Jupiter in Gemini. And a square is a hard aspect. It is an aspect that jumpstarts something, that forces something. But so here it's discussions, debates, again, conversations regarding joint finances or inheritance, and in relations to um, Gemini. And Gemini is your 11th house of friends and groups and associations, but it is also the house of your of how you want to be seen, uh, of your. It's the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams of the future. Your vision of how you want to be seen, how you want to be out there in the world. And Gemini also rules, siblings, cousins, extended family, and so forth. So again, the emphasis on money and this very, very close circle of family around you. Now, since it is Mercury in Pisces squaring Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter naturally enlarges things. So this can be a conversation that spirals out of control and becomes a heated debate. Or because there's mutual reception here, because Jupiter is the co-ruler of Pisces and Mercury does rule Gemini, there's mutual reception, there's mutual understanding, and it can be very, very optimistic. Um, but there's still the likelihood of exaggeration. So it can be healing, comforting words that can maybe be exaggerated. So I don't see this as a bad square necessarily. It is, sorry, in both of these houses' interest to benefit each other, and they do, because there is mutual understanding. The only negative is, like I said, exaggeration. But you, especially Leo, more recently, you can read a room. You step into a situation and you intuitively know what's going on. So you'll be able to discern between exaggeration and of something that could be negative or what have you. But it's definitely something about being compassionate and something about your hopes and wishes and dreams. Now we do have the moon in Sagittarius. I'm mentioning the moon in Sagittarius. I usually don't, because the moon is fleeting. It's like a 2.5 day trip, so it's fleeting. But I'm mentioning it here because the moon will square all of these planets, and the most important one will be squaring Saturn in Pisces at the end of the week as well. Now Sagittarius does rule your um, why am I blanking? It rules your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. So I'm mentioning this because again we have uh, this aspect of children here, or a romance, and again your money, uh, joint finances, or inheritance. Um, a square is a hard aspect, yes, but it's the moon, so there's going to be emotions, um, and they will be. They will be headstrong. I mean, Sagittarius is a fire sign, and it is your fifth house of romance and children. So feelings, fiery feelings, regarding uh, an inheritance or finances to be discussed. Or there's going to what's going to happen is there's going to be a split, like a compromise. And if you've listened, well, I think it was back in August, maybe even not this August, maybe the August before, because this is when all this started. I did mention that there was a need to get your joint finances or an inheritance issue organized, because um, there is sharing here. There's something of uh, uh, a 50-50 compromise. There is something that you're paying out, um, but it involves all these people, or like I said, a child, or what have you. And with the end of the week with this square, there'll be some hot emotions going on. I'm laughing with you, Leo, because I'm trying to explain a very nuanced, very emotional um, scenario, um, in like layman's terms and hard, because I don't want to just say, it'll be a hard aspect between this and that. I want to give you a little bit more uh, teeth to bite on, but you all know what this is about, so I'll stop here. You know very well what this is going on about. So there, with this emotional maybe exchange regarding your an inheritance or joint finances, Saturn is doing a reality check. Okay, now whether that reality check is towards you or towards your romance figure or child here, that depends on your natal chart. Now, the again, keeping to the end of the week, especially by Sunday, and it can happen again before then or after, we have Mercury in Pisces that will trine Mars in Cancer. Mars is retrograde still in Cancer here. But a few hours later, Mercury in Pisces will semi square Pluto in Aquarius. And a few hours later, Mars will station direct in Cancer. And then we have Ceres, the planet of compromise, that will enter Pisces as well. So what this says is, well, let's take Ceres first. So, like I said, this discussion about an inheritance or joint finances, or splitting money, or like handing out money, or inheritance handouts, whatever, the compromises start on Sunday because it becomes intense then. And Ceres is very important in these discussions. Okay, going regarding the Mercury in Pisces trining Mars in Cancer, this discussion here, it's going to be very, very supportive, of a family issue that relates to the past, um, to taking care of someone. Um, Someone is discussing with you about sharing joint finances or an inheritance, because there was a past incident, or taking care of someone, or something about faith and spirituality. And each of you will understand what I'm saying here, because there's different Leos with different scenarios, but you will understand what I'm trying to say here. And this is, as I mentioned in your February scope, this is the second of three trines. The first one was back in September. This is the second one, and there will be a third one in April 4th, I believe. Um, yeah, I'll leave it there. Uh, and with Mars stationing direct, I always say pay attention to these few days when it stations. But here I'm going to reiterate to pay closer attention, as there is debates, discussions about joint finances and inheritance, and with Mars in Cancer, and Mars is also stationing direct. So pay close attention to these discussions, and with Ceres entering Pisces. So these discussions will ultimately lead to these compromises, because see, more towards like the end of summer, or maybe beginning of summer, or somewhere around that date, there you have a move. You may have recently moved, but there's going to be another move, and it's going to be a big move. It's not going to be something small, but there's going to be a purchase of some kind, and that's why I'm saying there's going to be like a compromise. You're going to be paying for something. Uh, Maybe you're going to be the money guy, and the other person is going to use their, like, maybe credit or something, or maybe it's 50% of your money, 50% of their money, something there. It's being set up, but this is a prelude to that. Not necessarily the exact agreement, because remember, Mercury will go retrograde in Pisces, so there will be negations, rediscussions, reapprovals, and what have you. But it's a prelude. It's another movie trailer of how these monies will be split. This inheritance will go out, something like that. So definitely pay attention to those discussions. Now, going on into next week on the 25th, Mercury will conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So there comes another reality check here. With the discussions before regarding family, inheritance, uh, and the past, whatever is drudged up here, and then with whatever compromises, maybe there's like healing, supportive conversation to make things work out. On the 25th, Mercury then conjunct Saturn, so reality check. Like let's okay, you want this to manifest. You've had these beautiful discussions, these compromises, but let's crystallize them. Let's put them in agreement. Uh, Even though I'm contradicting myself as I'm saying, there'll be reversals and redos, but there. Saturn, what Saturn's purpose here is to make something work. The idea, the words, the talk, to crystallize them into not necessarily action, but like old school handshakes, like you have my word on it, something of that nature. Like even if there are reversals, but there will be still that handshake that will make it work no matter what. All right. Um, and then right after that, we see Mercury in Pisces, semi-sextile Chiron in Aries. So that hurt that you had, that wound that was triggered early this week, then next week, with all these talks and compromises and reality checks, then the discussion regarding these joint finances and inheritance definitely heals your wound. It sets it's a course correction where you feel much better about your career, your status. And whatever wound that was triggered early this week. And then finally, on the 27th, we do have a new moon in Pisces. And this new moon is very important as it is a new opportunity for, sorry, excuse me, a new moon in Pisces translates to the beginning, the ending, as we anticipate a new beginning. It's like spring cleaning, because we will start something new. We will go forward into something new in the spring. So this new moon in particular is special because we have the nodes, the North Node in Pisces and the South in Virgo. Um, so this new moon is a new opportunity for an ending. Whatever ending that we are struggling with, and after these compromises, we have a new opportunity for an ending. Uh, and also because this new moon will be a total lunar eclipse 6 months down the line. So something will be eclipsed out of your eighth house. There will be a complete ending here because then after that, a solar eclipse will come in and fill in that vacuum. But there has to be an ending here. And it looks like, again, compromises, discussions with a partner or family or children regarding inheritance, cashing out something so that in the future, you guys are purchasing something or investing in something that is to everyone's benefit. Um, so yeah, so pay attention to that new opportunity that comes in, and as well, there will be some more discussions that may surprise you uh, on that day because it's Mercury in Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus is the planet of shock and surprise, and Taurus is your 10th house of career status. Is it Taurus? Yes, it is. Your 10th house of career status and reputation. So, with this new opportunity on this new moon, there will be discussions that may be surprising to you, but it's a sextile, so it's a good aspect to your career and reputation house. Um, and then again, Saturn, Pisces, semi-sextiles, Chiron, and Aries. Yes, this new moon is very important to you, Leo, in particular, because then with Saturn approving something in your eighth house is definitely because Saturn has been trying to, again, like I said, crystallize something that has been that you've been yearning for. And here he's lifting some kind of a restriction where it heals again this wound regarding your the vision of how you want to be seen in the future. Uh, and with the North Node in Pisces, naturally it opposes the South Node in Virgo, and Virgo is your second house of money, job, and your value system. The opposition, this is karmic, so this is from 18, 19 years ago. So it's either karma being owed to you or you owe. Uh, and if you think back, you'll know exactly what's going on. There was a similar situation, and now it's coming up again. Um, coinciding with the ending of Neptune in Pisces. So it'll be a clearing out of both of these houses for you. And in opposition to your money house, don't think of it as a negative. It doesn't have to be a negative. It might be just whatever this inheritance of joint finances and this investment that I've been talking about might be that you don't have to work as hard. That might be the opposition uh, there. But Leos are very proud people, and that might seem like, oh, yeah, the recording ran out of time. But yeah, it can be a good opposition. Don't think of it as a bad opposition. The eclipses clear out dead wood, something there that you don't need, because it's going to be bringing in a new opportunity. All right, Leo. Please excuse me if it was confusing. If you are confused, leave me comments. I answer all questions to the best of my ability. But it's Pisces, and it's very nuanced. It's very ethereal, and explaining it in clear terms is a little challenging, but I try my best. That's why I go on and on, is because I want you to understand clearly. And this is a challenging area to relate in layman's terms. So if you are confused, you can leave me a comment. But I hope you do well, and I will be talking to you in the March scopes. All right, Leo, take care. Bye.